Long before the stories of the Bible, and even before the pyramids of Egypt or the philosophers of Greece, a civilization thrived between two rivers. This was Mesopotamia, the cradle of humanity, where faith was born from mystery and a profound respect for the unseen. What if I told you that gods and demons were not simply good or evil, but reflections of nature, life, and the great beyond? Let's journey back and uncover the shadows of the world's first religion. Imagine a mother clutching her newborn, whispering a prayer to ward off a terrifying presence. This was Lamashtu, the devourer of innocence, depicted with a lion's head and dark feathered wings. She wasn't seen as purely malevolent. The Mesopotamians believed she brought illness to mothers and their babies as a consequence of forgotten prayers or broken vows. Priests would only dare speak her name at night, and people wore amulets of her fiercest rival, Pazuzu, to keep her at bay. And who was Pazuzu? You might recognize his face from horror movies, but his story is far more complex. He was the demon king of the wind, a being feared by spirits and mortals alike. When blistering sandstorms swept across the desert, people believed it was his breath carrying destruction. Yet, Pazuzu was also a protector. When invoked correctly, he would stand guard over a home, shielding it from even darker forces like Lamashtu. A Mesopotamian proverb might have said, "He who commands the wind holds power over both death and life." A destroyer and a guardian, all in one. Now, let's descend into the quiet darkness of the underworld, a realm called Ereshkigal, the land of no return. It was ruled by Ereshkigal, the silent queen. Her kingdom wasn't a fiery hell of punishment, but a place of eternal stillness and shadow. It was believed that those who entered Ereshkigal would slowly shed their earthly identities, their names, their memories, their desires, until only their pure essence remained. She wasn't a judge, but a keeper of final rest. So how did souls get there? They were guided by the seven Gala. These weren't demons in the way we think of them, but somber messengers, shadows moving between worlds. When the wind suddenly turned cold or the oil lamps flickered for no reason, people would whisper that the Gala were passing by, escorting another spirit to Ereshkigal's gates. Their presence was a quiet, chilling reminder of the journey everyone must one day take. But what if someone dared to challenge this journey? The goddess Inanna, a vibrant deity of love and war, deed Hustat, in a powerful myth that predates all other resurrection stories. She chose to descend into her To enter, she had to pass through 7 gates, and at each one, she was forced to surrender a piece of her power and pride or crown. Her royal robes, her jewelry. When she finally stood before Ereshkigal, she was stripped of everything. But in that vulnerability, she found a deeper understanding. She returned to the world of the living, not just restored, but renewed. Her story became a timeless symbol of rebirth. This devotion to the afterlife wasn't just myth, it was practice. In the ancient city of Yore, archaeologists uncovered the royal tombs, stunning and haunting testaments to this belief. Kings and queens were not buried alone. They were laid to rest with their most precious treasures, and more startlingly, with their loyal attendants, musicians, guards, and handmaidens who had willingly chosen to accompany their ruler into eternity. To us, it seems brutal. To them, it was the ultimate act of devotion, a promise to serve for all time. But what about the fears of the living? When people felt haunted by unseen forces or plagued by misfortune, they turned to Maklu incantations. Priests would craft small figures from wax or clay to represent the source of their fear. They would whisper sacred prayers over them and then burn them in a sacred fire. This wasn't black magic meant to harm an enemy. It was a ritual of cleansing. The goal was to symbolically burn away the fear itself, releasing the person from the spiritual chains that bound them. They also believed in the Utikulimnuti, the restless ones. These were the spirits of those who died with great sorrow, anger, or without proper burial rites. It was said they wandered the earth, unable to find peace, until someone who remembered them spoke their name aloud, performed the right rituals, and finally allowed them to rest. The lesson was deeply ingrained in their culture. Never let a name be forgotten. To be remembered was a form of immortality. Even sickness had a spiritual dimension. The demon Asaku was the personification of fever and disease, But an outbreak wasn't just a physical crisis. It was seen as a trial of the community's spirit. Those who faced the illness with courage, faith, and compassion for others were believed to earn the gods' favor and protection. Asaku represented not just suffering, but the opportunity for endurance. In the end, all paths led back to Arkala, the city of 7 gates. Each gate took something from the soul, stripping away ego and illusion until only pure truth remained. There Ereshkigal waited, not as a tormentor, but as the silent guardian of cosmic balance. For the people of Mesopotamia, religion wasn't about salvation or damnation. It was about finding harmony between the living and the dead, the light and the dark, the seen and the unseen. By confronting the darkness, they found a deeper understanding of life itself. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the ancient past. If you found this fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories hidden in the shadows of history. See you next time.